While right-wingers in the United States continue to demonize Syrian refugees, one British couple has gone above and beyond to donate $1 million to them. Sacha Baron Cohen and Isla Fisher did donate $1 million to Syrian refugees, and according to the organization that they donated to, called Save the Children, $500,000 will be used to fund a program vaccinating more than 250,000 children against a potential measles outbreak in northern Syria. The other half of the donation will be used to help fund the work to support families with a special concern for women and children, both inside Syria and in neighboring countries who are suffering as a result of the ongoing conflict. The money will go toward education, healthcare, shelter, and sanitation. I love the fact that they're doing this. I mean, a lot of people have looked at them and thought, well, they're tremendously rich, and what's $1 million? Is it going to make much of a difference? They're not that rich, and they're still doing a lot more than what other celebrities are doing. Now, I know Angelina Jolie has also done some philanthropic work on behalf of Syrian refugees, which is excellent, which is awesome. And it's that little glimmer of hope that you get in this story after you listen to stupid, terrible crap from people like Donald Trump or other right-wingers in the country. Ted Cruz is another example. These are people who are trying to flee their own country, the only place they've ever known, in search for peace, in order to escape violence. And I'm so tired of hearing about people demonizing them. So this story makes me happy.
I agree. I think $1 million to anyone is a lot of money. Obviously, it means more to some people, but that's like $20 to me. That's a lot of money, you know?
Yeah.
So I love what they're doing. I think that it's great. They are a great role model for a lot of people. It is unfortunate that there are a lot of people that want to turn these people away, and we need people to stand up and say, no, let's help them. They need help. What if that was you?
Yeah.
What if that happened to America? I mean, what would we do then?
That did happen, not to me specifically, but definitely to my family members when they had to flee Armenia because of the Armenian genocide,
right.
You know? And so that's why you see diaspora throughout the entire world, including in the United States. And you know, I read some comments from someone on Twitter, some Armenian guy who was like, no, fuck those Syrian refugees, send them back. And I was like, dude, you're an Armenian guy living in America. I guarantee you that your family was the victim of the same thing that my family was a victim of. Yeah. So you just, please have some empathy. Haas, what do you think? Make your point.
Sacha Baron Cohen is probably the most underrated comedic mind of our generation, and I say that because even though he's massively successful and much more successful than others, but I still think he's underrated because it's even from the start, like Ali G, like all of his characters have been hilarious. Having said that, he's also a Zionist.
What?
Yes, Sacha Baron Cohen is he's not completely outspoken about it, and he claims that he's not a religious Jew. But at the same time, he is a Zionist. One of his parents is Israeli. Isla Fisher has converted to Judaism. But aside from all of that, he's worked on a bunch of different Jewish youth movements in Israel. And his first role ever was in a theatrical troupe a theater group that was a socialist Zionist movement in Israel.
Okay, so explain to the audience what you mean by that when you say that he's a Zionist, and because you're saying it in a negative way.
No,
right?
I mean, look, no, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it in a negative way. I mean, he's just he believes that Israel is the holy land of Israelis and Jews. That's what I mean by that. And if you think that's a negative thing, then that's a negative thing. If you think that's a positive thing and you're Jewish, you probably, you're like, oh, great, he's a Zionist. The reason why I mentioned that he's a Zionist and why that's interesting is because you wouldn't think that people that are in support of Israel could also be in support of Syrian refugees.
Yeah.
Because of that whole white versus brown kind of like racist undertone. But I mean, he's going out and showing that that's indeed possible.
I love that you brought up that point.
Awesome.
That's actually an important point to make up. I didn't know where you were getting at, but I think that there's a huge population of Israelis that are not like Benjamin Netanyahu, that are not like the Israeli government, that want peace. They understand the plight of the Syrian refugees, and they want to help. And Sacha Baron Cohen and his wife are prime examples of that. So that's a good point. I'm glad that you brought that up. What charity or cause do you guys support? Jen, I'll start with you.
So every time I would need to go to Planned Parenthood, I try to donate as much as I can there. No, I do. I try to think, like, where do I donate my money?
That's awesome.
But another thing that I think, that's maybe not a charity, but I have a lot of sympathy for, are the homeless people. So
Yeah.
I'll just say, like, oh, this guy looks really nice. Here's a couple bucks. Do I have a couple bucks? And so then
Yeah.
I'll throw a couple bucks, not throw, but hand a couple dollars out of my window.
Never.
I hear you.
That's what I try to do.
The cause that I'm super concerned and passionate about is anything involving elderly people, because I don't know what it is. Like, I get super emotional when I see lonely elderly people who are in homes, who don't have a support system, who don't have families. Like, that's where I want my philanthropic efforts to be directed to. But Planned Parenthood, I hear you, sister. Like, every month they automatically take money out of my account because I donate money to them and help them fight all these right wingers that want to shut them down. So what about you, Haas?
I fucking love Planned Parenthood, but I'm not going to talk about that. It's the best. It's the best. But no, I surprisingly I was a program director for a charity in college called Bros United that me and my fraternity brothers had started.
It's not surprising.
For, I mean, it's called Bros United, and you would think oh, it's Bros United, like that's lame. But no, it was a program for mentoring children with autism, male children with autism, because it's very prevalent in males, way more common in males than females, and unfortunately, most of the caretakers are females. So they lack like a lot of male role models in their lives, and we worked with Autism Speaks. It was a great program. It was kind of like a little brother, big brother. That's like a charity, right? Like Big Brothers of America or something like that. It was very similar to that. We'd take him bowling. We would take him ice skating. I learned so much about such an important thing that's, has grown so rampant in the world in the past like 10 to 20 years.
Look at that, bro tips. He's got like that soft heart that you might not know about, right?
Yeah.
But you're a softie.
My little bro crushed me in every activity, bowling, ice skating. It was so embarrassing.
That's hilarious. Well, I want to hear about you guys. Tell me what philanthropic work you're most passionate about. If you can focus on one charity, which charity would it be? And also, what do you think about Sacha Baron Cohen and his wife donating such a huge amount of money to the Syrian refugees? Do you agree with it? Do you think it's done for publicity reasons? Comment in the section below. Tell us what you think, and we'll see you soon.